If you find yourself being frustrated in your relationship choices over and over and over again, then listen up. I'm Dr. Margaret Cochran, and I help highly successful women, that would be you, create the relationships of their dreams. Now, I've spoken in previous discussions about the fact that your first love, however dynamic, may not be your best love long term, and that you don't have to marry every person you fall in love with. As some romantic relationships, no matter how lovely or intoxicating they are in the moment, just won't stand the test of time. Figuring out who's a keeper and who isn't can be very confusing because when you're in love, you're so full of yummy chemicals that the only thing you want to focus all your energy and attention on is your person du jour. Sometimes the person you're in love with is the one, and sometimes not. What do you think? A potential country and western song title? Probably better stay in my lane. Seriously though, how do you know who's right and who's wrong for you? I still think there's a song title lurking in there somewhere. So we've been talking about how to know whether you're in the right relationship or not. And this is a pretty hot topic for a lot of people. The truth is you have to be able to pull back from your emotions and look critically at how your romantic relationship is and is not functioning for you. And you do that by asking some possibly challenging questions, such as, who do you become in your current relationship, and do you like that person? What roles do you want to take on in the relationship versus the roles that you're actually fulfilling right now? Are you happy with them? What do you think your partner's expectations are of you in the relationship versus the roles that you're actually fulfilling now? Have you discussed this with your partner, or are you guessing? Pro tip, don't mind read. You really need to ask. We've looked at some questions that, if you're brave enough to ask them, will enable you to pull back from the chemical high that love is and consider what kind of relationship you've actually created and are creating, and whether or not that's a relationship you want to be in for the rest of your life or not. Here are some more things to think about. Who does your partner become when they're in relationship with you, and do you like that person? What do you expect of them in terms of emotional support? What does that look like in practice? What are sexual expectations like in terms of frequency, seduction style, fantasies, and the way your physical lovemaking is executed? How about your expectations of the physical tasks each of you take on? These may seem silly, but they are likely unspoken. If unaddressed, they can cause resentment and anger over time. Things like, how do you handle money? Do you pool your funds? Do you keep things separate? Why? Who's in charge of home repair? Who drives when you're out together? Who does the laundry? Who cleans the house, particularly the bathroom? What about the amount of clutter? What's mutually tolerable? Who chooses the decor? Seriously, so many fights occur during the process of choosing furniture and or remodeling a home. Who cooks the meals? Believe it or not, this can be a huge resentment builder if not well delineated. And if you have children, who picks up the kids from school and takes care of them when they're sick? Who's in charge of dealing with aging parents? Believe me when I say, if unresolved, both of the last two have huge argument potential. There are many others, of course. And your task, if you haven't done this already, is to write down all your questions about who expects what from whom. Things, as I said, both large and small. And now for the biggest and most important issue of all. What's your communication like with your partner? How do they feel about communication? Do they prioritize it? Do you? Have you actually discussed the answer to this question, or are you guessing? Pro tip, communication is everything in an intimate relationship, and it will make or break it. It's not good sex or lots of money or having kids that keeps love growing over time. It's the couple's ability to talk with each other about anything and everything. That's the real glue holding things together. If you're looking at the questions I've posed and you're not sure you're happy with the answers, then you need to take the list I asked you to make earlier, sit down with your partner, and talk about expectations, both yours and theirs, again, whether they be large or small. Many couples don't have expectation discussions. They just assume their partner has the same priorities and thinks the same things they do the way they do, about who will take on what roles and how things will go. Couples frequently believe that everything will just magically work out somehow. And that's often when the reality check bounces, because happily ever after doesn't work that way. If you hit some roadblocks when you start talking about what an intimate relationship needs to look like, go to a professional. Let them guide you through the process and teach you some new skills that will either help you strengthen an already healthy love or help clarify the things that really aren't going to work long term and can assist you in uncoupling without hatred or rancor. I look forward to our next conversation. I'm Dr. Margaret Cochran. There's a link in my bio if you want to explore working with me. Like, comment, and follow for more.